Good evening, my brothers and sisters, and welcome to another episode of A Word with Pastor Webb. I'm your host, Pastor Webb, and we have a very special guest this evening, Mr. George Tinsley, author, father, businessman, entrepreneur, coach, and friend. Please help me to salute and celebrate my friend and brother, George Tinsley. Mr. Tinsley, how you doing today?
Doing great, Pastor Webb. It's my pleasure and honor to be on your show today, and hopefully we are able to communicate something that will benefit the audience out there. So
right.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you for being on the show. We're not going to prolong the time. Rumor has it that you was raised with a silver spoon in your mouth. Tell me, what's your story? How did you grow up?
Well, it's a long way from that story, and I like to kind of characterize it as turning obstacles into opportunity, my tagline there. But I was adopted by a lady that was 65 years old, had one leg, couldn't read and write. She was a babysitter that kept me while my mother was working. She kept other kids also in the neighborhood. And something happened there. I mean, there's a number of different stories, but the end result was that my mother didn't come back. She kept me, raised me until she passed when I was 13 years old. We moved around the city and outside of the city, so don't know if my mother came back and she couldn't find us, what the story was, but that's how it was. So we basically lived in a one-room facility. Most of the time we lived in an attic with a relative outside of the city in Harrods Creek, Prospect, Kentucky, and started school in back in Louisville, Kentucky. Mm-hmm. And so we lived off a $65 check that she received, Social Security check that she received. Wow. She couldn't write. She'd make an X on the check. I would sign her name and take it to the grocery store, neighborhood grocery store, where we had a bill, running bill tab. And so that's the way we existed.